Started, obviously. Welcome to another session of Talk with the Nations. And we are back again. So remember, we are at the Z Nation headquarters located in Cairo Road. This is opposite the main post office at a complex called Limbi Shopping Complex, shop number W4. That's where you can catch us live. Come through, get whatever phone you want to get, and our team will be there to assist you through getting that Laka phone. And today, now, I am having a conversation with
Mr. Austin Samba.
Mike.
Oh, my mic is not close to my Mr. Austin Samba.
Yeah, Mr. Sambo, give us, who are you?
Okay, I am
Mike.
a guy. What would I describe myself as?
Uh-huh.
I would say I'm a tech enthusiast, entrepreneur. I would say I'm a righteous person, kind of. Yeah, I'm still getting there. But yeah, and I'm a father, most importantly, father and a husband. So yeah, that's basically who I can say I am.
Awesome. This, I think these years that we've known each other, we've had opportunities to share ideologies and agree, disagree, but still find the middle ground where we can make our friendship relevant.
Yes.
Our partnership relevant, because you are my business partner.
Yes.
And we've had an opportunity to go through different conversations.
Yes, sir.
Conversations dealing with spiritual aspects, conversation dealing with our physical growth, our mental growth, and everything in between.
Yes.
And it's been impactful with me. One thing that I've learned most from you and your wife is purpose. You and your wife seem to have that emphasis or conviction to ask each other or yourselves the question, what's your purpose?
Yes, sir.
And I remember being asked by your madam one time when I came visiting at your place, and she asked me, what's your purpose? And it was a very unexpected question for me. But it provoked me to think far beyond what I had at the moment, to the point where I started asking myself, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
What does the word purpose mean to you, Mr. Austin?
Purpose means my reason to exist. My whole being basically has to have purpose, because from the beginning, if you go back to biblical scripture, God created everything and created purpose for everything. Do you know most people do not understand that even in the Bible itself, God created everything first. Then when he created everything, he placed the humans after. So he created things that had purpose and said, now I will place the humans so that they can find purpose in these things. So it's interesting because you think about it to say, meaning that everything was created before the human beings. So meaning that we need to find our purpose in the things that God created first. So for me personally, I feel every man, every woman, every being should have purpose on this earth. You're not just here to fill up space, but you're here to actually, be impactful.
And if you are giving clarity to one who might not understand the concept of purpose, how would you simplify that? Exactly what you said. How would you simplify the idea of purpose and why we should take this subject very seriously? For one who's in business, for one who's trying to orient themselves spiritually, for one who's trying to orient themselves physically, with keeping in mind the agendas and target of this year, starting this year, obviously.
Yeah.
People are still writing or polishing their, what do you call them?
The to-do lists?
To-do list, but every year we call it the
resolutions.
Yeah, their resolution.
Yeah.
The yearly resolution.
Yeah.
How would you explain it in your own words with the understanding that you have to explain what purpose means generally and ideally by you, and how all these people can try to orient it in their resolution?
I would say New Year's resolution is also purpose in itself, because it basically puts you at a point of, there's a psychological thing to say. I've heard people say, nah, it's a new year, there's nothing new about it, I'm still having my problems. But I actually read a research that said it's a psychological thing, that happens in the mind, where immediately you have a new year, automatically your brain rewires itself to new things, to a new perspective, to a new hope. Because hope is what we live for, hoping that we are going to have a better future. Even if your current situation is still the same as last year's situation, but the hope that it is a new year, and it's bringing you a new something, gives you purpose. So for me personally, I would say a new year's resolution in itself is you giving yourself purpose for the year. So writing down a new year's resolution or what you want to see for the year in itself is purpose, and I feel it is very important. Why? Because I believe your purpose is not the same throughout your life. Your purpose evolves with time, evolves with situation, evolves. Like right now, I was telling Mr. Temba to say my current purpose has completely changed. I thought my purpose for the coming year was going to be something else. That was last year, maybe early last year, you know. Then all of a sudden, my wife got pregnant. I've got a baby now, and it didn't really sink in. Even as my baby is about 5 months old now, but it didn't really sink in until the new year approached, and I came to the realization to say, wait, I need to have a purpose. And I was telling Mr. Temba, the other day to say, my purpose right now is to learn how to love my family. That is my purpose.
Why is it important for you to love your family? Is it because, do you think it's coming from a place of trauma? Maybe you didn't live in a nuclear family system that allowed you to experience what it means having a leader in your life, or is it that you actually had an experience of what how good that is when you have a nuclear family, and you also want to transfer what you've been given by your parents to your next generation? Is it coming from privilege or lack?
I would say both. I experienced both lack and the feeling of just having a family. You know, I've experienced the height of height in my life where life was so good. Many people I don't know, many of my friends don't know that I've been to State House, eh? And State House, not being in State House as a visitor, per se, I was a visitor per se, but I literally entered the president's office with my grandfather. We lived in a family, that were doing well at some point in life. Even though my father wasn't present, this was my grandfather, who got me to that height. I saw life at its highest point. Having a driver get you to take you to school, and all that was just taken away. And it made me realize, even now when I had a child, to say, that's the normal life my child should live. So my purpose is to provide a life for my child that is deserving, because I do believe that the fact that I have passed on my genes and I have birthed a child with my wife, it means that I have passed on even my intelligence. So I do not believe this intelligence should wallop in struggle, in poverty, in the likes, because my purpose to bring up that child to be purposeful also on this earth is very powerful right now for me, because I believe the environment I'll raise my child in, what I will provide for my child, obviously through God's grace and mercies, is going to be impactful to this world. Because what I'm going to do for this child, for my family, my child, it's like the Elon Musk story. He says, "Oh, my parents only gave me $100,000 to start my business. Or was it $1,000,000 to start my business? And now I'm worth 200 billion." And for me, that was inspiration to say, wow, a million or $100,000 is not a small amount of money. It's very big. But what the parents did, because his parents were purposeful people, his parents were doctors, his father was an engineer, was it not an engineer, sorry, uh, collector of rare gems. He did something for him that elevated him, with those resources that they had. So for me, my purpose right now is to put upbring my child into a life that will give him purpose to change the world, also to give him, something that he can give to the world also, you know.
Okay, to create a base at least where it's not going to be foundational, but they're starting from somewhere where it's
It's higher
elevated,
than what
the foundation,
yeah,
unlike the
yes.
African drama where every time every generation has to start
From
all
the
over from the
bottom,
bottom,
yes.
which doesn't seem to make
No,
sense.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Would you liken purpose to being, if we are comparing, not that it's that, would you liken it, to simplify it, would you liken it to the characteristics one ought to have, or specific agendas that one, like a phone is meant to make phone calls and these other
Yes,
things?
I do believe so. I do believe so. Myron Gordon was once one of the messages I listened to him was he said you have to be purposeful.
Mhm.
You have to write it down. I
Okay.
want to be a millionaire.
Uh,
I want to have $1 million.
okay.
Do not just put it hypothetically. I'm going to be a millionaire one day. No, write it down, and it should be a chant.
Mm.
Literally, even for me, wrote down my purpose, and under my purpose now, I wrote down the steps towards my purpose, the things
Okay.
I want to see in that purpose as it's being realized. I didn't just write my purpose is to love my wife and my child, and it ended there. No, no,
Mm.
I wrote it down. I want to have a loving home. I want to have I want to build my home by 20 this. I want to have my car by this time period. Set time periods, set goals towards your purpose, so that, because the thing is, when you do not set timelines towards the things you're doing in purpose, because these are tools, eh?
Yeah, yeah,
The cars, the home, these are tools
yeah,
to make your purpose be realized more efficiently, you understand? So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
do not write down, it's the same as you write down a grocery list,
List, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, and realize that grocery list.
Mm.
So those are the things I did even under my purpose, to write down the steps, what I want as a person to be, you understand?
Yeah, yeah. I totally understand what you mean.
Mm.
Would you say what really oriented you? Because there's a part of your life that you sometimes share to say that there was a time of your life, of the time of discovery, where you didn't have things in a specific order, and you had that realization moment where you had to orient yourself towards a purposeful path. What do you think changed your course of direction? What do you think oriented you, in short? Is it faith? Is it the relationships? Is it just you having that eureka moment? I just need to change my life and put myself on a path where I can be organized and purposeful.
I think it was at a moment in my life when I was at my lowest. My purpose is one of my purposes, because I say purpose, you've got your purpose first, that God has given you to be a servant of God. That's your ultimate purpose. Then there's your purpose, multi purpose, that's under that purpose. So my purpose for me was to create solutions. And people used to come to me, bro, help me order things before people even understood how to go about this internet ordering. And I found myself, because of this influx of people, I started to redirect their finances, use their finances for things that it was not intended for. That was not the purpose of their finances. Their finances came, this person tells me, I want to start a business. And I redirect that. So I got to my lowest point where all these people now bombarded me with debt, police, whatnot. And funny enough, a year later, I meet my soon to be wife at the time, who's my wife now, and she tells me to say, you know what, you can't keep running, because the thing with the devil is they'll attack you at the point at which you are strongest at. So they'll hit, because I'm a solution oriented person. That's my whole motto. I make solutions. I do not look for. I look for problems and make solutions. I don't look for problems to complain about problems. You understand? So she told me, say, don't run away from them. Face them. If it means sitting down with these people, having uncomfortable conversations. And through that, came to realize my purpose, to say, oh, my purpose, one of my purposes is to be a person who is solution oriented.
And did you know God by then. Are you very religious? Would you call yourself very religious?
I wouldn't call myself very religious, but I would call myself spiritual.
Okay, were you very spiritual by then?
I always grew up in a religious home. So I had it in me. I had, what we call consciousness about your decisions, about the things you do wrong, where you're not doing them out of ignorance, but you're conscious about them and it's there, it's hitting you to say, no, this is not right. This is not right. This is wrong. And I would pray to my God. I did have this shaky relationship with God, but I knew I loved him.
Would you okay, last words. What would you say to encourage the younger you? What would you say to encourage the younger you to stay on track so that they don't make the mistakes that will maybe make them screw up to the point where there's no redemption?
There is no fast way to success. Go the straight and narrow path. If it means you getting the least out of the deal in the beginning of every relationship, in the beginning is not, it's never 50-50. You understand? It's never 50-50. It's always going to be either you put in more, the other person puts in more. So I came to understand to say I cannot reap more where people have given me their trust, their livelihood. So I came to understand to say no, let the process grow gradually. So if it means you making minimal just to create a relationship with people, do not make the mistake of making fast money. I will encourage even the younger generation to say fast money does not exist. It's a myth. Fast money that you see people make fast money is 10 years, 20 years of experience. And then they'll get a deal that makes them $1 million overnight. That's not fast money. That's 10 years of them understanding the dynamics of something. Then for you who see it from outside, will be like, this guy, a deal came through and he just hit a 1 million. Even I can do that. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It was his time. So my younger self, I'll tell you, slow down, move with the process, even when it feels hard, even when it feels slow. The process is working for you and it is in your favor as long as you just call for the goodness that you want in your life.
Amazing. That was AS Gadget, Mr. Austin representing. We're going to have him more on this platform, obviously, because he's part of this team. You guys have been amazing. Mosa Ivala kuboshta chani.
Okamba weka. That is our slogan. I don't know if you guys know about it.
If you don't have a purpose, then Okamba weka.
If you don't have a purpose,
if you don't know Z Nation, Okamba weka.
Okamba weka.
Come and support our business and please support our platform. Help us grow and be with us in this journey. See you on the next one.
Yes, sir.